Hey guys, welcome in. And today we are back with another episode of GameFeelz with our special guest, Justin Hadoken. We are talking about Tunic today and just kind of the overall vibe in that game and maybe just some speculation into what the game is about. I have some ideas. I'm curious to see what Justin has in store because we didn't communicate about it. We're just gonna chat and see where it goes. Yeah, so let me know what you think, and I will talk to you guys again at the end. Yeah, that's it. So let's go. Prince helped me with this like a couple days ago, and
Mhm.
I felt kind of bad for Fox because like she had a lot of interesting things to say, and the
Yeah,
audio just turned out really shitty for her. But
I mean, it
yeah,
is what it is. You're trying to figure it out. I think Barry said it's like season one,
yeah,
You're kind of working out the kinks and stuff, and you
dude,
could always
Barry
get the
is
opportunity to come back later.
yeah, Barry's like just such a helpful dude and
Absolutely.
appreciatively brutally honest.
Yeah, exactly. What we all need, though.
Yeah, honestly though, like he's
I-
gonna come in, tell you how it is, and he's not like trying to be a douche or anything.
mhm. Yeah, no, he's been really helpful. It's what you need to hear too, because I don't need a bunch of yes men around me. It's nice to hear like that brutally honest feedback when you need it.
Yeah. Well, I
Otherwise,
think
otherwise you'll kind of just get caught up in doing the same shit over and over again. And it's
yeah,
bad.
man. Like it there's nothing wrong with people who want to support just to support,
Mhm.
but people who actually like watch your stuff and want to tell you like what you're thinking or
Mhm.
what they're thinking, that we need more people like that.
Yeah, but it's been really helpful having him around.
Yeah, dude. And
Yeah.
I don't know how he has the time to do what he does. Like I'm convinced he doesn't sleep.
I am convinced the exact same thing because I've seen him talking at any particular time of the day. Like for the longest time, I was trying to figure out what time zone he was in, all these things, and he's a little intentionally vague there. So I don't want to dig too much, but yeah, I'm trying to figure out when the hell he's supposed to be sleeping, or
Yeah.
it's rough. Yeah, like I know he's in a different time zone than us. Like he's definitely on the other side of the world somewhere, but I have
Oh
no idea.
yeah.
But I'm just trying to help you out, man. Like I don't need to know where you are. It's fine, but I just want to make sure that you're taking care of yourself.
Yeah. Or maybe
Yeah.
he's a bot and we just don't know it.
Maybe. Can we ask him that? Is that violate one of the rules or something? Like, will he just self-destruct?
Today we're talking about Tunic, and you said it had been a couple years since you played?
Yeah, so whenever the Xbox Series X came out, like I think the next year is when I got the PS5 and the Xbox and all that stuff.
Hmm.
Um, it was like a nightmare trying to get all that stuff at the time. But so I ended up getting them both back to back, just because I wasn't sure what I'd even be able to get. I was like, am I gonna be an Xbox gamer? I'm gonna be a PlayStation gamer, and then somehow back to back, I got into these like weird promotions that I ended up getting both of them. I ended
Nice.
up selling the Xbox because I kind of didn't like it very much
That's
myself.
okay.
But when I got it, the part of it was getting the Game Pass. It was like a whole deal. You had to do it all, and then you pay, a little bit each month over the course of 2 years, and there's no interest rate. So it was a good deal, but you had to get the Game Pass. I was like, okay, well, I'll just try out what's on here. And
Yeah.
one of the few games I played when that came out was Tunic. Whatever it showed up on there. So it's been a couple years, but yeah, it was a really good game. I like that game a lot.
Did you know what you were
A
getting
little
into?
weird, but no. I was like, it looks like Link with a fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it seemed cool, but yeah, I had no idea, and like I don't want to get too far into this point, but yeah, just the fact you can't like even there's like no dialogue really, or it was odd getting
Yeah.
started
Oh, the way I describe it is like Dark Souls, but with the Breath of the Wild skin. And
a little bit.
it is weird because it's like a traditional game in the sense that like you're just kind of thrown into a world and
Mm.
you have to figure it out.
You really do, and then on top of that, it like the fighting, you die very quickly, which
Yeah.
is deceptive because it's such a cute game. Like, I mean, there's a lot of those now, but you think it's gonna be easy. You think, oh, whatever, run around, maybe some cute dialogue with some NPCs,
Yeah.
something, but it's completely just turns all your expectations on their head.
Yeah, and I really like that because, like even the music is well in the overworld is like
Mhm.
very like feels good and it looks like it's not going to be hard because the way that the art is done, it just looks like it's going to be a little cozier than it is, and I kind of like that it's deceptive like that.
Yeah, it like lulls you into a false sense of security. Like it's gonna be just a nice, simple game, cozy. You just settle down.
Yeah,
Okay, run around, do a little exploring. You know?
yeah.
No.
And so kind of like an easy segue to do is like the combat is like, I mean, you have like three or what, four slashes, and
Yeah.
what adds on to it is like items that you get. And the magic actually, I was kind of surprised how much I ended up using it because I'm not generally a big like magic user,
hmm
but the little fire wand you get, I have used that the whole time.
Yeah. I'm not sure how many abilities you picked up. There's a lot of them, but yeah, there's a lot of I don't know what the word is, but like customization, I guess, to like you could sort of have like little builds and things, and you could cater what you're equipped with for each boss. Like it was good. Like it was a lot more than I expected from something like that.
Wait, was
There's
it
a lot of
really?
abilities. Yeah, there's a lot of those kind of things you could find. Like there's like a flame sword you can get. Like there's a lot of
Oh,
cool stuff
what?
you could.
There's a
Yeah,
flame
man.
sword?
Or it's like an attachment thing you can like use
Yeah,
like as a flame sword. I
like
forget what
with
it meant, but
the little card things.
exactly. Yeah, it's like abilities or whatever. But yeah, you can get some really cool ones there. That I ended up using throughout.
No way, man.
Yeah,
I
man.
feel like I
I'm telling
really.
you, it's worth going back to a lot of things in it.
Damn
Like
it.
it's definitely got some replay value to it. It's a little bit of a bastard, but
Dude, yeah, there were. And one thing that was kind of surprising to me is that, well, maybe not surprising, it's just how determined the enemies are to kill you.
yeah,
Like, they will
oh,
chase
they'll
you
follow
for a
you.
long time.
Yeah, you can be on a ledge and they'll be like right below you, like running at you, trying to swing up, trying to get you. Like, there's no getting away unless you kill them. Once they see
Yeah,
you, like you got them.
yeah, dude. And that's like, I was going to the boss in. Do you remember the quarry? Quarry?
A little bit. But is that the really like how to describe it? But like poison almost. Like it's just like
Yeah, like a lot of
I-
purple, and it like depletes your
yeah,
health bar over time
yeah. That's the word I'm looking for. Like
until you
it's
get the
draining you.
mask. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
What about the
So
quarry?
there was a boss down there that I would like run to, and until I finally realized that there was one of those little obelisks that you could like
Mhm.
pray at or whatever, I was having to run really far because I couldn't like save any closer to this boss.
Yeah.
But there are lots of little things like that. Like
Mhm.
you just kind of gotta like investigate a little bit more.
Mhm. No, it really does just like drop you in there and say, all right, just figure it out. And good point with the running, like the having to run to boss fights and that's definitely one of those things that made me think of like Dark Souls, right? But like, oh yeah,
Yeah,
okay. You explore, I'm doing good, I'm finding the shortcuts, I'm getting there, and then you die like in like two hits and you're sent back like 20 minutes.
yeah, dude.
And you're like,
That
how did I even get here? I don't even remember where I went.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that, I mean that kind of makes it fun, like
Mhm.
finding different shortcuts. But it's also not very like I don't think it's very accessible at first.
Yeah,
Like
absolutely not.
unless you know like you have to like do this or that. Like I didn't even know how to run for a long time.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's one of those games that really is gonna I think a lot of people if they play it, they're gonna look things up online. Like
Yeah.
realistically, they probably are. I mean, again, we talked about, and we'll probably talk a little bit more, but like the fact that there's not really any dialogue other than occasional word here and there. It
Yeah.
doesn't really tell a whole lot to you. When you do get instructions, again, it's just like one or two words, like, hey, gotta figure it out. You'll get it.
Yeah.
Um, you don't really know where to go. It, there's not really a whole lot of NPCs to talk to. I mean, it's very vague, and you really just have to get good, figure it out. There's so much directly in front of you that I think I was telling you early on. There's a lot of puzzles that you're looking at constantly. You have no idea is even a puzzle because you
Yeah.
just don't know enough to know what you don't know.
Well,
You know.
a good example of that is do you remember that giant like golden slab that was on the northwestern
Yeah.
part of the map?
hmm
Yeah. So there's hints all throughout the manual of
Yeah.
what you're supposed to do, and I obviously I looked this up because I just gave up trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, obviously it's a golden cross, so like, well, you just use the code that you or cheat code that you find in a manual somewhere to
Yeah.
open the other doors.
hmm
Oh, it's this whole long thing, dude. Like, It it's like playing DDR on the thumbpad.
Yeah. No, exactly. There's so many of those too, like hidden throughout the map, like even in the beginning areas, like where you're talking about like the directional inputs, right? The puzzles that you see.
Yeah,
Yeah, there's so many of those, and they're literally like in the most basic spots. That's where you find a lot, like that fire sword. I think is like one of those too, where you find it in one of these random little hidden in plain sight puzzles. But I don't know. I hate and love that at the same time because it's such a cool. Like once you see that,
mhm,
it's kind of like the first time you played Super Mario Brothers, right? Where you jumped through the top and you ran through the whole first level or second level, and you're like, "Holy shit, I can do this!" It's like
yeah,
things that you. It just assumes you'll know that you had no way of knowing that you could just sort of discover by just trying to break the game intentionally or do weird things, you know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
There, because in games like Hollow Knight, there's obvious tells for a broken wall that you
Mhm.
know how to look for after you see it one time and accidentally do it. But yeah, that like those aren't obvious hints in Tunic or like Super Mario Brothers. Like, how would you
Yeah.
know to just jump up?
Yeah, it's interesting how much they seem to have drawn from other games too. Like that's definitely very much a callback to Zelda, I think. Like the fact that like the original one, like you where you have to burn a bush or hedge or whatever the hell it is to find like stairs and things like that. Like that you just like why would you know to even do that in the first place?
Yeah,
A lot of that definitely you mentioned Hollow Knight. I think there's a lot of Hollow Knight draws as well.
mhm.
I mean not to get into the endings or anything, but like the fact the two different endings and the way the paths that they go, it definitely reminded me a lot of like the bad ending in that as well.
Did you do both endings?
So you want to get into that. So
Well,
I so I did
let's
the good
before we
ending.
get there. Actually,
Yeah, yeah.
let's.
There's a lot there.
So there's. I only did. I guess I got the bad ending because it
Mhm,
said game over after I beat it.
mhm,
It was like you're missing some items and 5 pages from the manual, and I was like, well, I'm just missing them then.
mhm.
Um, so up until this point, you're kind of in this world, you know nothing really, and then I guess so you complete all the little stone gem puzzle in whatever building it is,
Yeah,
and then you fight the air, and you die, of course, because I mean, if somebody can win that fight, then they're amazing. I'm
yeah,
sure somebody's done it, but
yeah.
uh,
Someone's done everything.
yeah, I was not one of those people.
Yeah,
And then all of a sudden, the world becomes, it's nighttime and you're a ghost.
yeah,
So you beat the game, and then it was after dying to the final boss, the air, that I was like, why is she disappointed that she's killing me? Like, she could just not do it.
yeah.
But I think that's the point. I think she wants to be free. But like, I guess it's her job to kill you.
Yeah. So, have you watched any of the other endings or like any lore behind it or anything at this point? How I guess how
Nope,
much you know at
we
this point of
are
it? Yeah,
here. You might be.
got it.
You're the authority.
Okay. I mean, take it with a grain of salt. It's been a little bit, but I know. So with the air, I know. I don't remember exactly how they got locked up there in the first place, but they found something or ended up going into some area or some tomb or something like that, ended up getting locked in there, right? And so they get
Okay.
locked behind the three different keys. And so your whole thing is you stumbled into this area, you've discovered this air, right? You're trying to free them, you want to help them, and by doing so, you're trapping yourself, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Like that's what I mean by like that tie to Hollow Knight, right? Is that like in order to like save them or at least kind of like do the next step in what needs to happen, you have to sacrifice yourself and trap yourself there forever.
yeah.
Um, and so yeah, it's interesting, and that's again that ties into the good ending for bad ending, and you got all the different things you need to find,
Hmm.
and find all the lore in order to get that good ending to kind of prove yourself worthy, right?
Yeah,
To break the cycle that's continually happening, right?
yeah,
And the air is essentially it's just like you, right? It's just like a version of you or some someone along your descendant line or whatever, and it just did the same thing, made the same mistakes, and ended up in this situation.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Because what's interesting about this game versus Hollow Knight, which I don't mean to keep bringing up, but I mean, now that you've made
Well,
the connection, I'm like, oh yeah, actually, I see it more and more. Is that there's not just like one or two characters that remembers all of the lore, or the was there for the creation of Dirtmouth and the Black Egg and all that.
Yeah.
There's other ghosts, and they're talking about how since you put in these stones, like something bad has happened,
Mhm.
and so that kind of led me to believe that they don't want the air to be free. Like maybe they
Exactly.
had some kind of uh aid in trapping the air.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember exactly how. I don't remember exactly. I think it was just they discovered something. Or I mean, the game really does keep things intentionally vague
Mm-hmm.
to make you think about it and kind of wonder. I think they do that on purpose a little bit.
Yeah,
Um, but yeah, I know like you get all the like the notes or whatever, right? You get all the knowledge, and yeah, once you get that and you go there, I mean, then that's what you needed, right? For whatever reason, you needed to prove yourself worthy, and by bringing all these and sharing this knowledge with the air, they're able to see the reality or whatever, and that's how you're able to break the cycle, and you're no longer just replacing each other, and you're able to free the air and bring them out.
yeah.
Um, yeah, spoiler warning, I guess, but
Yeah, yeah, maybe I
I
should.
guess for this kind of video, yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
maybe put that up in the
yeah. Or there are people who just like don't care. They're
yeah.
like they will play the game regardless, and I'm like, I mean, if it's spoiled for me, why do I even want to bother?
Mhm.
But no, I found it really interesting that your interactions with the air, like in the spirit world, I
Mhm.
guess, like whenever you go to the temple and like when you're fast traveling, she like waves to you and everything, and you're like, oh, this is my friend.
Yeah.
And by the way, I was so livid when there was a phase 2 of that fight.
Oh my
Like,
God, yeah, it's so brutal already. Like you
yes,
finally barely got through it, and
dude,
just the health bar right back.
yeah. And then the purple sword comes out, and I was like,
Yeah,
what,
yeah.
dude?
And that's where those abilities come in handy, right? That you can kind of toggle through some of those things, use the magic especially.
Yeah,
That you're not just relying on coming in, getting little chip hits here and there, because it really doesn't do very much damage to him. Like it takes so long to just whittle down its health with the sword.
so when you originally beat the game, did you get the
Mhm.
bad ending first?
So you actually made the right choice by getting the bad ending first. That's actually the good way to do it.
What?
I, being the idiot, thinking, "Oh, I'm going to try to be, completionist with this, and try to do as much as possible." And like I went as far as I could with it, got as many as I could, and I was like, "All right, well, I want to try to complete this." So I tried to find some of the other ones online. Got it, got the good ending.
Mhm.
Uh, Turns out that in order to really 100% the game, you want to get the bad ending first. Because you can get that bad ending, right? And then when you die, I don't know if you've tried to go back and play it again, you leave off right before that boss fight, right?
Yeah.
So if you get the good ending first, you live off right before that boss fight with 100% of the notes and everything. So you can't get the bad ending afterward. So yeah, it's just the biggest bastard ever. Yeah, it traps you. So in order to actually 100% the
Well,
game and platinum it now, I would have to go back to the beginning of the game and completely restart and just get the bad ending.
that's fucked.
Yeah, it just locked me out of it. So
Damn,
you actually getting the bad ending first is the good decision because now you can go back and look for the rest of it and go back through again if you ever decided to do so.
that's
But
so
yeah,
cool.
disclaimer for anyone playing that game though, go for the bad ending first. That's the way you want to do it because otherwise you're gonna just hate yourself if
Yeah,
you wanted to actually complete the game. Yeah.
because like I tried to not look up anything, and of
Mhm.
course there were things that like I just wasn't gonna find otherwise.
Yeah.
Uh, well, I didn't have the patience to find, is what I should
Mhm.
say.
Yeah.
But like the frogs domain, because
Mhm.
you see those little hooks all around and the little tuning forks.
Yeah.
What the fuck are those
What the
for?
hell's
So
that? Yeah.
yeah, and turned out there's a frogs domain, and I was like, well, where the fuck is that?
Yeah.
So yeah,
That's how the game feels half the time.
yeah, honestly though. And then there was something whenever I like finally got into the ghost world, I was like, oh, there's that one room that's like just water and there's nothing in there whenever you're alive.
Mhm.
Well, I guess you're not. I don't know if you're dead or not. I'm like still unsure about that.
Yeah, what the yeah. because it
Yeah.
doesn't tell you.
Yeah. But whenever you switch over to ghost form, I'm like, oh man, there's
Mhm,
probably an NPC there that I can talk to.
mhm.
Well, I could never find the room again, so I'll never know.
Yeah, from what I've heard, and I tried to kind of recap a little bit yesterday just to remember a little bit. This could spin a bit, but from what I saw, it sounds like the ghost form is, and where the air is sort of in between life and death. It's like a spirit form. You're sort of trapped in between. That's what it sounds
Okay.
like from what people have been saying. Now, again, I haven't seen it tell you any of that, so is that true? I don't know, but that's what it sounds to be. Is it's sort of like an in between realm.
Yeah.
Um, yeah,
So,
because yeah,
do you know who the shopkeep is? And I'm not asking because I do know. I'm asking because I want to know.
no idea. I
Uh,
have no idea at all. No
that
idea.
that drives me nuts because like,
It's the most
sh-
evil looking thing ever.
yeah, but
Is
he's
he
like,
helping you? Is he hurting you?
yeah, it looks like Haunter if it had
Yeah, yeah,
bones.
exactly. It's just like this ominous dark figure in this like dark room. Because I remember the first time I went in there, I was like, "What's in here?" Okay, and then I thought it was a boss fight when I first saw it.
Yeah.
Like I thought it was like, "Oh, I'm fighting this thing. I'm gonna die." Okay, but
Yeah, and there's another room that I actually could never
shopkeeper.
find again. Um,
Mhm.
you remember the room that had like a bunch of like changing um screens, I guess, or changing screens, like you would like at a store or whatever you would change behind
Yeah.
if
Oh
they
yeah, 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 yeah. I
Yeah.
couldn't find. I don't remember what that is. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a lot of hidden rooms. Like I don't remember what it looks like. I remember there's even like a hidden trophy room somewhere.
Hmm.
Like there's a lot of different things you can find. Which I guess is really cool for the game. Like I said, I look things up, but like when I first started playing, I tried to get as far as I could. Um, just on your own exploring because it's fun when like even a game like that where it's frustrating, you can't figure it out. Like once you do find that thing, it feels really good. So I as much negatives we're saying about this game, I do give this game praise. I really like it. Like I would definitely play it again. Um, Especially now that it's been some time and I don't remember these things, I can go back and try to explore it.
Yeah.
The beauty of time there, but
Well, it's hard
it's
for me to
confusing.
say that we're complaining because I mean, I think it's designed to be this challenging,
Yeah.
which makes it feel really rewarding. Like, do you remember the first time, like when you fight the little stone guardian or whatever?
Mhm.
It's like it kind of has like the three eyes, like the obelisk
Yeah,
that you
like
pray
a
to.
golem looking thing. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
yes, I was frustrated, but I had a lot of fun figuring it out and getting good at it. Please don't
Yeah.
knock over the. Got it. Okay, so let's see. NPCs. There's really
Which
one that
one?
you interact with
Yeah.
until you're basically done with the game. I guess it would mark the halfway point whenever you switch to Spirit World.
Yeah. Like late game. Yeah. Until you get to late game, you really don't see anyone else other than those
Yeah.
ghosts, right?
So, do you think the language is like that because you're not really a spirit? Like you just can't understand spirit language?
Ah, I see. Okay. So you're somehow inherently different from them
Yeah.
as being a spirit. That's a good question. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe it's possible. So it's confusing though. Maybe it's because you're not like you personally as the gamer aren't too. Because I know, and again, spoiler territory
Of course.
with the air. Like when you do get the good ending, it like you save the air, so it's no longer a spirit and it's actually alive again, which is weird, right? I think maybe that's why people are assuming it's sort of in between life and death, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so like they're talking to each other, they're hanging out. And I think as the player, like it seems it I don't know, from what I can tell, it seems like the fox understands what's happening to some degree,
Okay.
but like as a reader or as a viewer or gamer or whatever, you just don't even at that point, like you don't understand anything. So
Yeah.
it's odd. It's odd, right?
Well,
It's
yeah,
a
because
very cryptic game.
yeah, everything you're interacting with is in this other language that
Mhm.
honestly I assumed at some point during the game we would come to understand. Like maybe there were like tomes that would teach us the language or something, and that just never
Yeah,
happened.
I thought that's what the pages were for.
Yeah.
Initially, that's what I thought. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, eventually you'll know, and I thought it'd be like this whole thing you'd be decoding, and it'd be like the notebook trying to figure out what these things say. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. That's exactly what seemed to make sense to me.
Mhm.
And again, maybe that's just the creators wanted this world to be intentionally cryptic so that we come with little to no expectations, which is hard to do because internet, and you're left to figure it out.
Mhm.
Like why is a shopkeep the only one that seems to have an actual physical form or
Yeah,
have
exactly.
had?
Whatever the hell it is.
Yeah. And why does he sell you bombs and fruit and actually okay, now that I'm thinking about it, the the well, you
Mhm.
know where you toss in the coins,
Tossing the coins in, yeah.
there has to be an NPC in there.
I mean, otherwise, what are you tossing it to? And why are you getting a benefit from it? Yeah, it's gotta be something.
Yeah.
Now, is it a spirit?
I don't dude, I don't that's
It's so many questions. And like it's hard to tell, like, is there a reason behind some of these things, or is it done just as a way to make it again like a callback to other games, right? That oh,
yeah.
you need that shopkeeper, right? Like, okay, there's no one in this world, but you have to have this to give you this piece of the game, right? That they wanted that. And again, the language too. Like I don't I've looked around online a little bit too. Like there's some people that have actually been trying to decode it too. And I think there
Mhm.
actually is a language behind it,
What?
which is even more psychotic. That they put this much effort into something you weren't meant to read.
Yeah. Well, actually,
I've seen people like decoding like this is a vowel, this is a consonant, and they're it's crazy.
so my buddy, he delved a little bit deeper into the way you're walking around makes me think that you knocked over the water again. Um, so there's actually like a side quest where like it takes you to a website where you listen to a soundbite and you decode a puzzle, which I mean honestly is kind of brilliant, but like how would you even know? Like,
I
is
think
there
that's
a
one of the
Q?
ones I had to look up. Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
yeah. There's no. How would you figure that out? Why would you figure that out
Yeah, like
with
unless
no
there's like
language? Why would you know?
mhm. Unless there's like a QR code, which like
Yeah,
how would they put that? Well, actually, there is just like this
physical
one.
copy.
Do you remember those the mages in the they would cast like a specific pattern on the
Mhm.
ground?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, I remember seeing that on the wall somewhere, and I was like, can I like cast that spell? Why is that there?
Mhm.
Never found out because I forgot about it until just now, actually.
That's the beauty of the game, though. You like now reflecting on it and going back, you're like, you know what? There's a lot of stuff I've missed. Like, there's definitely so much replay value to this. Like, even if
Hmm.
you get like the ending, right? You get an ending. There's still so much more you want to go back and look at eventually. Once you have the energy to, go
Yeah.
through that again because it takes a lot out of you.
Well,
But
I mean, I'm honestly I am hooked on Leica right now, and I for the foreseeable future will be because there's a boss fight that I just is
mm,
kicking my ass. But maybe one day, like, I feel like maybe they left it intentionally vague to set up really well for a second Tunic.
mm,
I mean, I don't know how successful it was, but it was a lot of fun to
yeah,
play. I would for sure
yeah.
play a sequel.
I'm curious where that would even go. Trying to think of because if you've saved the like you've broken the cycle, assuming you got the good ending, and you're just hanging. Like, I guess it would have to be like maybe a separate character line, maybe like within the universe of it. I could see that happening, kind of expanding the lore more.
So what I think would be really fun is, and I've thought this about Final Fantasy X as well,
Mhm,
like a prequel kind of thing,
mhm.
like how the heir got there. What is she the heir to?
That would be cool. That would be sick.
Yeah,
Like, how? Yeah, what happened? How did you get trapped in the first place? Like, that could be the ending, right? Is you getting trapped?
yeah.
That would be really cool.
Or even like a better ending would be like you meeting the new fox for the first time.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Also, where did these notes come from? Like, who wrote all these everywhere? Like, just
Yeah,
try to add, like where does all this shit come from? Like, what, what is happening here?
yeah.
Why is
If
there all these notes here? And why, when you discover them all, does that give you the good ending? It's all very cryptic.
or why couldn't you
Saying
have
that.
less, you know, left more detail?
Mhm.
Maybe like just tell me what the right thing to do is.
Mhm.
You're not helping yourself very well.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is I mean, I'm guessing that the heir probably didn't see it coming when they got trapped.
Yeah,
So
maybe
that's
they
why
were the
I'm
first
wondering.
one.
Yeah, that's probably either they're the first one, or I mean, maybe they weren't. Maybe other foxes like yourself have come in, got the bad ending, and there's a cycle of them.
Mm.
I don't know that either. Like it could maybe the other one's already dead, gone. Like who knows?
Yeah.
Like there's a lot open there. And then again, the notes like it couldn't have been this heir, I don't think,
Mhm.
unless they just forgot because in order to get the good ending, you have to show them this stuff. So them reading this is what enlightens them to suddenly be freed for whatever reason. So like, did they write it and forget it? Is it some like knowledge or secret or some epiphany that they get from someone else that like I'm curious, like why does that even
Well, if
help
you're
them?
alive in spirit form long enough,
Mhm.
assuming this is a real thing, I'm sure you would forget your previous life. So, I mean,
Maybe
this,
that's what it is, yeah.
yeah,
So maybe it's just pieces of them or their history or whatever that kind of maybe they forgot who they were and so they were just sort of trapped in this like I don't know. They're just stuck in this role of having to fight off whoever gets there, right?
yeah,
I can say that. Yeah.
which is also fucked because they want to get out, clearly.
Yeah.
Like,
That's why again, this game is it's so cute on the surface. It's so pretty. The music is all uplifting, but it's such a dark, depressing game when you really get down to it.
yeah, it's not like when you're thrown into games like Bloodborne or Elden Ring where it
Yeah.
everything is just like fucked up.
Yeah.
It's
Chosen Undead.
yeah, it's seemingly very beautiful. Life is good. Well, I mean, good enough. Way better
Mhm.
than Dark Souls for sure. But yeah, and I love that. Like a Death Cab for Cutie song. Like a lot of songs sound way happier than they are.
Yeah.
Like specifically the song Cath is it's a very upbeat rock song, but
Mhm.
the lyrics are real sad.
Yeah. You know what else it reminds me of? Especially the most recent version of it is Link's Awakening. I don't know if you've ever played that.
Like the
It's
first
the
Zelda?
Game Boy Color one.
Oh
It's
no.
like the Game Boy Color game, and they redid it on the Switch a couple years back, which
Oh yeah, and
really leaned into like the. So if it's very cute on the surface, it's very uplift. And again, spoilers, but like you're in this like it's you're the bad guy essentially. You're in this like dream world, and like by you being successful as Link and getting out of there, you're literally destroying the entire world around you. And so like all the monsters, everything coming after you, like they seem like the bad guy, but you're really the bad guy here. They just don't want to die. So, you know what I
uh,
mean? So like things like that where it's just really cute on the surface, but it's just this horrible underlying plot going on.
yeah,
And I really enjoy games like that.
I do really like that. That makes me want to play that because it's
Sorry to ruin that for you. Take a year or two.
well, I mean that does kind of inspire me to play it. I need something to do on my layovers. So
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if there's spoiler warnings for Game Boy Color games at this point, but
I mean there were definitely games that I didn't play
mm,
because I was talking to Fox
yeah.
about this and probably you too. Like we were talking about like our first games are what really like made us feel like a gamer, and I didn't
Mm,
feel like I was like of course I played games, but I haven't really felt like I was a real gamer until when I started streaming, and I feel like I've played more games in the last 4 months than I have in my entire life.
yeah.
Maybe I'm exaggerating. Maybe it's as much, but still,
Mm,
pardon me.
no, you're good. But yeah, no, I agree though. It just forces you to either finish games, like I know Prince likes to force himself that way to really finish those games that he wasn't going to finish before. It pushes you to try new games. Um, like I've been trying to get variety out there now, and try to do a bunch of different things and
Mhm.
cycle through different games. And retro games are cool to kind of go back and see what was there that you missed. So it just sort
Yeah.
of pushes you to like find more, and then you're seeing other people online too playing games that you
Mhm.
maybe never heard of, right? There's a lot of games I've discovered that way too, especially the Leica game you're playing right now. It's so cool. It's Leica, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
That's the motorcycle Metroidvania one, right?
Yeah. Which I don't know if you knew
Yeah, it's
this
so cool.
because I didn't find out until I was actually hanging out in Fox's stream talking about Leica.
Mhm.
And so the Russians sent a dog to space, and the dog's name was Leica.
Interesting. So
Yeah.
Does that tie back to the lore in any way that you've seen so
It
far?
doesn't
Or
seem
is it just
like
sort of a
it.
coincidence? No,
Yeah,
just all, yeah,
I think like they just must have liked that story or something because
stuck
the
in.
dog is very much not in space.
But
Uh,
yeah,
yeah.
it's cool game, really cool game though. I like literally never would have even discovered that game at all. So it's just really cool to kind of come on Twitch and see what else is out there and what people are playing.
hmm
Yeah.
or like playing games in a way that you maybe wouldn't have before.
Mhm.
Like I've never done a magic build in a Souls game before, so maybe I'll play Dark Souls 3 and do a magic build.
Mhm.
But I don't know if I hate myself that much.
Do Elden Ring. Elden Ring is not as brutal on you. You could do pretty good. Actually, I think it's pretty OP in that one, honestly.
Yeah, I'm watching Paige the Witch. She's a
Mhm.
streamer. Um but like a pretty popular one, I think. She's doing a magic build in Elden Ring, and it does seem pretty OP. But the trick with magic builds in games like that is like you have to be good at dodging and timing.
Mhm. Then again, though, I mean, you could like at least for Elden Ring specifically, like if you're talking intelligence builds, like there's weapons that scale with that and stuff too. So like even when
hmm
you're going build, it's not really magic anymore. You know what I mean?
Fair enough.
It's like okay, I've got a sword that just happens to scale with the stat. But I mean, I guess it depends on how you're playing it, right? Like
Yeah.
you could just fully go staff, which I've seen some people just fully go that, and it's I mean, yeah, we're going off topic a little bit, but it's I can't imagine some of those fights trying to go there and just dodge constantly while
Well,
staying at a distance.
okay. To kind of loop it back around, actually, like when you're fighting the air, if you cast magic,
Mhm.
the air will dodge it,
Mhm.
which blows my mind because I don't
Yeah.
think I
When does
remember
that ever
any other
happen?
character do that in that game. Um, and like you have to catch her pretty or him. I don't know. I feel
Whatever.
like
Yeah.
if they were female, it would be heiress. But then again, who knows? Doesn't matter.
Mhm.
Um, I don't. It's just kind of wild to me, like how you have to time it right to get the air with magic. Like
Which
they
is
have to.
usually just an easy nuke, right? Usually you have magic there. You have to worry about your magic bar, but that's usually the limiter, right? It's just how much magic you have.
Yeah,
So usually it's an easy hit, right?
yeah. I think every other character, at least non bosses, they were
Hmm.
so easy to hit.
Yeah, it's just a sponge. You just
Yeah,
get as much damage on it as you can. Yeah, with the air, I think you had to like last minute dodge half the time, and then like as soon as it gets past you, like hit it with magic, right? To
yeah,
get like a quick push on it most of the time. Otherwise, yeah, it just dodged you. It was just pointless most of the time. And
yeah.
there was like a spread shot attack I think I used a lot. Can't remember exactly which one it was.
Ugh,
Go back, man.
damn it.
Yeah, it hit like a cone of magic, like pretty close to you. So if it was like kind of like a shotgun shot, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Damn, dude. There is.
there's a lot to that game, man.
Mhm. I'm a little upset now. I mean, like, I'm happy because that means there's more to do, but like,
Mhm.
I'm not as good at exploring as I thought I was.
I mean, I mean, again, like, there's so much to it. Like I told you, I had to look a lot of stuff up just to find the rest of it because I was like, I don't want to experience this game. I don't want to just like finish this and be like, well, what else was out there?
Yeah.
I mean, unless you could always like look things up, but I kind of got to see some of it. But there's so much hidden, and again, a lot in plain sight. Some of it not quite as in plain sight. But yeah, so many different builds. I don't remember if it's that fire sword I was talking about, but I know there's a weapon you can get where it like drains your health all the way down to like one, and then you do more damage or something. Like there's a
Oh,
lot of
yeah.
those kind of yeah.
I hate using
Again, which
abilities like that. I mean,
I don't mean so.
I
Not unless
just
I
like,
perfected the game.
honestly, I lose a quarter of my health bar and I'm like, oh, time to heal.
Yeah.
I'm just,
I feel like those abilities are good for if you're like trying to like no hit the game or something, you know? Hollow
ugh.
Knight 2 is the same one where you have the one what's that like there's those
Charms?
charms, yeah, with there's the one where it's like the extra damage or something like that, but if you get hit once it's gone.
Oh,
Like the fragile whatever ones.
yeah. And then
Yeah, those I
also,
never use those.
there's a charm
But they're
where,
good
like,
for
if you only have one mask left, you do. Maybe I'm exaggerating a little bit, but like 50% more damage,
Yeah,
which great, but I am just not that much of a masochist. Like,
yeah. It's
uh,
good, I guess, if you drain your health down to that and then run around with no health, right?
mm, yeah, I
I can't do that. I get hit too much. I can't perfectly dodge all the time. Like I know eventually I'm going to screw up, and the fact that I know that I can't get hit is going to make me screw up even more.
yeah, dude. I remember when I was streaming Hollow Knight, somebody commented like, "Oh yeah, you do like to get hit," and I was like, "I don't like it. It just happens."
It is what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not as good.
um. Well, do you have anything else that you want to say about Tunic before we wrap up?
I'd say the biggest thing I wanted to share was definitely make sure you get that bad ending first. Honestly, that's the biggest thing because that pissed me off so much. That took the wind out of my sails because I really was trying to platinum that game,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm not going back and playing this again.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
I I guess good for me for
yeah,
sucking. I
yeah. I thought that was really shitty. I hated that they did that.
mean, it's really clever if you think about it.
Mm,
It'd be really great if they make a sequel and like if you didn't get both in or if you didn't platinum the game that
mm,
you just resume from like your save data carries over.
mhm.
That'd be
That
cool.
would be really cool. I like when games do that, where like you have that backwards compatibility or whatever, or not backwards compatibility, but like the last game really does carry into the new one, and you get something, some sort of something expands the story, or it's. I mean, usually it's just like extra item or something, but like yeah, definitely if it like leaned into the actual plot, that'd be really cool.
Well, Mass Effect does that, I think.
Mhm,
I never well, I tried to play him a long time ago and I just think I was too late to the party.
mhm. Yeah, I haven't played any. I was watching Yuki play like the other week, I think, but I've never played any of the Mass Effect games, but they
Yeah.
look good, other than the ones that people hate on, whatever that newest one is, but or newish one is.
Andromeda.
Yeah, that one.
I
Not new
actually,
anymore, but you know
because
what I
I
mean.
didn't know anything about it, I like. Well, my brother really likes the Mass Effect games, but
Mhm.
I liked Andromeda because it was my
Mhm.
first one.
Yeah, again, I've never played it, so I can't even say anything bad. I
Yeah.
can only say what I've heard, but yeah.
Well, okay. I think that's gonna wrap it up for our. I don't know. I was kind of calling this series Game Feels. I don't feel like it was. Well, it was a little feely.
I feel something.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching today's episode with Justin and talking about Tunic. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I had a blast talking about it and getting to hang out with my buddy again. So, if you liked it, feel free to leave a like down, you know, by clicking the like button where you're supposed to, and leave a comment if you have any insight into the game. And with that, that is going to be today's episode, and I'll see you next time. Had